What is up? How are we? What's going on, party people? We are going to talk about language. Language. Watch your language. That's today's tip. I'm doing a series of teen girl tips. And on today's video, we're going to talk about the power of our words. So, this one is kind of near and dear to my heart because this is an area that I feel like I could really stand to use some practice, which is great because practice is what it's all about, right? It's not about the end goal, it's about staying in the process and practicing. Sometimes I notice that Reese and or Parker, my kids, I'll notice like negativity. I'll notice this language they're using, which is very absolute. It's very like awful. It's very dramatic, right? Which is kind of normal for that age, right? Everything is happening kind of for the first time. And so it seems very dramatic. But what I'm noticing is that typically when I'm noticing it in them, I have to stop and do a little check on myself. That's typically the way that it is with a lot of this work. And I really encourage when I'm working with moms of teens and dads too who are noticing certain behaviors in their kids. I'm like, okay, maybe we should do a little just self-awareness on that behavior in ourselves and see kind of how things are going with us. Typically, humans mirror other humans' emotions and actions, particularly our kids. So, language is a very powerful tool that we can stop and kind of check ourselves on. So, let me just kind of give you an example of that. There are kind of three categories. There's shame and blame, there's awful eyes, and there's absolute. So shame and blame, shame is one of those emotions that really, shame is not useful. Okay, shame is an emotion that no real positive change comes from feeling shame. But it's one that a lot of us get caught in. And the word that I think is a good, it's a good tip to shame when we're going there is the word should. And it's kind of an easy tip. A hint is that shame shares the first two letters of the word should, along with another four-letter word. So should, like, I should have known better. I should do this. I should volunteer for that. I shouldn't have done this, right? It's a very clear indicator that we are shaming ourselves. So that is a word that I highly recommend you consider taking out of your vocabulary. Words like, I hate my body. How could I have been so stupid? I'm not smart enough. You ruined this, right? Very like shame and blame. The other category is words that awfulize. So, this is the worst thing that could have happened. I look disgusting. I can't stand this, right? These are words that carry a lot of baggage. All of these words do. They just weigh us down. The land of absolutes is one that this is my weak point, okay? I need to eat better. I must do this. I don't have a choice in this. I have to get this finished, right? These are words that, again, really stand out as just weighing us down. And when we understand that our thoughts create our reality, then we understand how powerful our words are, right? Because our words are really just putting words to the way that we're thinking. And so when we're thinking thoughts like this, we can feel like everything we're doing is just an uphill battle. It takes us to a really negative place. And our girls, even though they seem like they're tuning out right now as teens and not listening to us, our words and the words that we use about ourselves and to them carry a lot of weight. So what can we do? if we find ourselves kind of in this negativity and using these heavy, icky words? Well, typically what is my kind of red flag is when I hear my kids saying it, because that means that they're picking up on that vibe from me. Or maybe they're picking up on it from other people, but I can be an influence that's a little less negative and maybe move into more of a neutral spot. If I can't be Pollyanna positive, I can at least watch what I'm saying in front of them. So just noticing, right? Just recognizing the words that are coming out of their mouths, and that being a trigger to recognize what's coming out of my mouth. And then just taking like a breath, just taking a moment. Our kids operate from a part of their brain. It's called the reptilian part of our brain. It's the fight, flight, or freeze. And so that's a huge place they're operating from. When we can take a breath, literally physically take a deep breath in, it signals to the brain that there's not a problem. And it immediately calms us down. That's why deep breathing is such a popular thing to do in yoga and meditating. It just signals to our brain and then to our body that we can just relax. We can take a deep breath and begin to reset and reframe. Okay? So rephrasing is another part of that too. That's kind of the last step. So instead of like, I hate my body, you would say something like, I'd like to be more fit. I'd like to take better care of myself. I shouldn't eat this, or I shouldn't be spending my time so much time on the phone. Okay, let's focus on what you'd rather be doing, right? I talk about this a lot when it comes to creating our reality. We hold such power in doing that, and when we're constantly focused on what we don't want versus what we do, we continue to draw in to our lives whatever we're focused on. So even if we're focused on what we don't want, we think that's a positive thing, but really we should focus rather on what we do want instead. Okay, instead of like, this is the worst thing that ever happened at work or at school, you could say, you know, something challenging happened today. One of the things that I've been doing with the kids recently, and even though they're a little bit older, this is something I used to do when they were little and we moved away from it. But, you know, kids will tend to just give you what you ask for. So how was your day? Good. How much homework do you have? Not much, right? How are your friends? Good. So instead I'll say, you know, I'll do the rose and the thorn. Tell me the thorn today. Tell me the rose, meaning tell me something that was good. Tell me something, you know, and how can we take whatever was the thorn and potentially mold it into a rose moment, or at least reframe it, right? And that just gets them in the habit of seeing that certain situations that happen can have two sides to it. And it's, again, I don't want to come across as though everything needs to be shifted to the positive, but there is something to the positive psychology of really understanding that our words and our thoughts create the way that we see the world. And so if we want to change the world that we're in, or at least our little corner of it, one of the tools that we have a choice in every single day is the words that we use, the thoughts that we think, and our general attitude. So that is your teen girl tip number 1. I'll be back tomorrow with more goodness. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying doing them, and I think hopefully I'm actually going back and watching the videos. I used to not do that, and I see now where when you're an athlete and you go back and you watch a video of you playing in a game, it's totally powerful, because you can be like, oh, so I say a lot. I'm gonna work on that. See, I didn't say I shouldn't do that or I should do better. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna focus on my language. All right, guys, hope you have a great day, and I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment in the comment section as you watch this video, whether you're watching live or later in the day. And let me know if there's a topic that you want to hear about. I'd love to hear from you. You can private message me. You can comment below. Shoot me an email, betsy@coachbetsy.com. I'm always up for hearing from you guys. Okay, have a great day. Toodles.